Good evening once again. Thank you for coming. My name is Lily Zevige, General Manager of Yola Hotels, Lagos. Um, I'd like to say thank you for taking our time to be here physically and those online. Thank you very much to all the amazing people here today. I'd like to, we all know how difficult it is for women to navigate in the professional world. Sometimes we go for meetings and it's difficult for we have planned presentations or something to talk about, and at the end of the day we finished faster than we expected and realized that there's nothing else for us to say. Imagine if we belong to a community where women support us, believe in us, help us with sharing our goals. This is what Assured is all about today. Before I dive in, I'd like to recognize the presence of a special guest, keynote speaker, Mrs. Olufo here. Sorry, Mrs. Olufo Amobi. She's the Deputy Head of Corporate Operations, Stanbic ITC. Please let's give her a round of applause. Thank you. Welcome, ma'am. I also like to say welcome to all our top executives here present. I can't mention all of them. Welcome, everybody. I also like to welcome members of NIPE and PILA. Members of NIPE and PILA, please give us a round of applause. I don't know why everybody's here, but some of us are here for food, and some of us are here to learn. I'm here for food and also takes us away from our regular work. I would like to invite Mrs. Pombi Adeoti here to please shed light on what the Assured is all about. Please put your hands together for our very own Mrs. Cuba.
Thank you, Lily. Good afternoon, everyone. It's exciting to see every face here, and I'll take us on a very short story. Aisha, I think it was about 2022 that we actually started conversations. During COVID, we realized that a lot of women were going through tough times, managing the home and at the same time managing themselves and still having to work from home and ensure that everything remained safe. And at that time, we sort of tried to work on communities. We tried to look at the single women. We tried to look at the ones who were single, as in unmarried, never married. We tried to look at the ones who were divorced. We tried to look at people who were going through different phases of life. But we realized that that connection wasn't just enough. And then when we had International Women's Day in 2023, we then said, look, we need to take this a notch higher. And especially by 2023, there was so much more about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I recall that some years back, the ratio of men to women was not only low, but the ones who were able to get into leadership was really thin. Somewhere around middle management level, women begin to fall off. And it's not rocket science. It's the many things that our patrilineal society throws at us and the expectations. And you're expected to trade your career, your life at the expense of every other thing else and ensure it works. But then we're seeing women who are making it. We have the Okonjo Iwealas. How did they make it? And when you look also within our own society, we can mention so many. And we said, look, how can the Leadway woman not only succeed within Leadway, but become an icon in the society, a reference point? And that not only makes Leadway a great place to work or an attraction in the society, but an organization that impacts the society where it operates. And that should reverberate through all the entities that we have. And that birthed her Assured. In fact, we then started to look at a number of organizations that had something similar. And we found out that when organizations have this, because the woman by nature is a nurturer, they will not only seek to the success of the organization,
even to the benefit of the organization. The loyalty of the woman, as long as she's enabled to thrive, is incredible. And so we see that if we do this, it will also translate to our larger society, because not only do we nurture internally, we will begin to nurture externally. We will grow women who are empowered and enabled to impact their world. And we do so by creating communities of women who can enable other women. A safe place where you are proud to belong to the Leadway family. A safe
proud to say, I am in Nigeria, I'm in Cote d'Ivoire, and as we expand, wherever you find yourself, you can say you not only nurture yourself, you nurture your colleagues, you nurture other women out there, and we create a community that is impacting our world for a better place to live. And so that birthed it. We had all women of different ages, as you know. We're 54-year-old
at every level. So we created a committee of some sort to have conversations. What should we do? How do we empower people? And how do we ensure that they not only grow professionally, but they impact their world? And that is what it is. Life is only meaningful when you are impacting someone else. And that meaning is what we are birthing today. On that note, I welcome every one of you. And I say that you're going to have a great ride. And it is only the beginning, because we don't despise the days of small beginnings. We see greatness from here. You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Life is only meaningful when you impact others. That's a very strong word. So we'll call on our keynote speaker. But before she comes up, I'd just like to read the summary of her. There's a lot to read, but I'll just read the summary of her profile. Funke Amobi is a multiple award-winning global human resource thought leader. She's an operations management executive with proven mastery in leveraging employee experience and customer experience for strategic human resources. Funke is a much sought after speaker nationally and internationally on human resources and management issues. She is deeply passionate about women's empowerment, youth employability, and enabling career professional drive. She is a published author, and her book, Martial Harmony, is currently empowering couples and intending couples across continents. She is married to Fred, and they are blessed with a son. Please put your hands together for Funke and peace.
Thank you very much indeed. And good evening, Leadway. I don't want to just say, it really gives me great pleasure to be here today. Thank you so very much for having me. I'd like to recognize the presence of, I don't know everyone in EXCO, but I'd like to recognize the executive management here present. I'm not sure who's here, so I'm not going to do the protocol. I'm just going to, please allow me to stand on that protocol. And again, women, I'd like to start by saying Happy International Women's Day. It's the month, isn't it? So happy International Women's Day. You know, when Kumbi said to me today, by the way, we're very, very good friends. When she said to me she needed me to be here, I knew that I had to be, for many passionate reasons. A community-led initiative has proven, you know, all over the world, globally, to be the way to go, to drive, you know, the point around women empowerment, women advancement in the workplace. And indeed, in our organization, Stanbic IBTC, we're proudly one of those organizations who have indeed sort of practicalized these community-led initiatives. And we've got our Blue Women Network. That is 10 years this year. So we're doing it's our 10th year anniversary this year. And it's looking back, throwback. It's really, really a testimonial that is the way to go. The community-led initiative is the way to go. So when she said I should come speak today about advancing women's aspirations through a community-led initiative like Hersurred that you're looking to launch today, I thought it's an excellent time to share the Stanbic IBTC Blue Women Network case study. So when we hear actualizing women's aspirations through community-led initiatives, what comes to your mind? I chose not to sit up there. I decided that I'd like to make it nice and warm and interactive. What comes to your mind? What comes to mind? Community-led initiative, achieving women's aspirations through a community-led initiative. What comes to your mind? Women empowerment, okay, that works for a start. What comes to your mind? What, why, and how? Is it important for us to have women, community-led initiatives for women? Is it important? Why is it I can see everyone nodding? Yes, please, madam. Yes. Absolutely. She says it takes a village to raise a child. Where we are today with women empowerment, in particular women advancement in the workplace, it will take a village, a community to support the goals. When we say actualizing women's aspirations, technically you ask yourself, what aspiration do we have as women? What really is that aspiration that you have? If I'm touching base with you to say actualizing women's aspirations, what are we talking about? Technically, is how do we enable women in the workplace to achieve their desire to attain, to rise, to climb the ladder, to achieve something great, something high, which typically in the career language for women would be promotion, isn't it? Would be appointments, would be elevation, would be recognition, would be leadership. So when we talk about actualizing women's aspiration in today's workplace, the subject matter is one that is globally recognized to be key. And I'll tell you why. Because the statistics are not looking good in general, broadly. The statistics have not looked good for a long time. So women make up, if you like, most of the workforce. I can see, Leadway is not any different. Women make up a significant portion of today's workforce. But you guess what? It appears that the opportunities are not as equally skewed out when it comes to women in leadership. Almost every industry or every sector is deliberately working at improving those numbers. It's sort of assumed that there are inhibitors in the way. As such, it is important that the community is deliberate about how to support women to advance in today's workplace. Now, there are a number of reasons that we've seen. Firstly, we see that women attaining leadership position, the pace at which women have climbed or tend to climb, the career corporate ladder, appears to be slower than men. Do you agree with me? Perhaps that's why we have the statistics that I'm soon going to shock you with. Debate has moved around globally around the subject of equity, fairness. We've heard break the bias. If you've been following the hashtag of International Women's Day, you see that it's been really full, isn't it? We've talked about breaking the bias. We've talked about now we're now talking about embracing inclusion. Now, I'm one of those people who take on the view that there are different shades to this conversation. And the responsibility lies with different people. There is one part of the responsibility lies with us as women, is it? Another part of the responsibility lies with the organization. Another part of the responsibility lies with other stakeholders, including government, including regulators, and all that. So government intervention and other stakeholder intervention are somewhat heightened in different parts of the world. You find in some sectors, banking, for example, and I'm soon going to tell you some good news in banking. You find in some sectors that the regulator pays attention to say X percentage must be female at certain levels. In other words, it's technically asking management to pay attention to how women rise on the ladder. Now, the truth is, as far back as early 2001, you could find that even at a global level, talking about, national level, political level, you could see that the rate at which women advance even on the political ladder is clearly even slower than it was in the past. It is projected that if we go on at this rate, before we get to gender equality in positions of power globally, it will take us 130 years. Now, none of us here would be alive. So in other words, it means we have a lot of work to do. The percentage of women in the labor force technically also appears to be declining. So if we go further and further and further, we can tell that the statistics are not looking good. So the question is, so why are women not advancing as fast as we would like to? We're talking about actualizing the aspirations of women in today's workplace. I said the topic is such a shining one that I always like to ensure that everyone gets a piece of the action, so that we don't imagine that it's all about the organization, doing the right thing or laying the foundation to support us. It's also about us women taking our responsibility. So sometimes it is said and felt, and you may be listening to me and feeling that way, that women face an uneven playing field. Sometimes it's said that, if you compare women to their male counterparts, perhaps the ground isn't as level as it should be. I'm trying to ask the question, why? I'm trying to answer the question, why? Why is this important? What is this all about? Why should we pay attention to actualizing women's aspirations in today's workplace? Now, the truth is, being a woman technically means that certain things you're likely to be prone to certain things that men will not be prone to. For one, if you choose to go the family way, you're likely to be out of work 3 months in the year at the minimum, correct? The law says you should take 3 months. If you choose to take more, it could be 4, it could be 5 in 1 year. So the question is, if I have a male counterpart who is at work for longer, does he then qualify for promotion because he's at work? Do you have an answer? Talk to me, ladies. Talk to me, ladies. That's why I'm down here, not up there. The answer is yes. The answer is perhaps, isn't it? One of my leaders in Stanbic IBTC said once upon a long time ago, when we started the Blue Women Network, that he recalls a time in his career where he put forward a woman that was on maternity leave for promotion. And not just for promotion, you know what I mean, for a general management promotion. And the question was asked, really? Are you sure? And he said he was very proud of himself because he could answer all the questions. And it was centered around, why are you asking me if I'm sure? Why are you asking me? The motivation doesn't have to do with whether the person is physically on ground now. The motivation has to do with the contribution the individual has made, the potential the individual brings to the table to handle the role, the bigger sized role at the next level, and the fact that the individual actually aligns to the culture of the organization. All said, he said it was perhaps the fastest motivation he had done for his senior placement. And that was approved, which became like the icebreaker. You see what I mean? So I've said that to give an example of what appears to make the level field uneven sometimes. There are many more things. Sometimes it's said, oh, women struggle. It's harder for women to advance. They receive less support from their line managers. Oh, then the lady needs to go to antenatal ever so often before the baby is born and needs to go back and forth. After the baby is born, I need to do immunization. I need to come back to the office, all those kind of absences. So it is said sometimes, they don't get the resources they require. And it is also said that perhaps also the way we're wired as women, it tends to be difficult to understand managing organizational stakeholders. Note, I did not say navigating organizational politics. Did you hear that? Sometimes it is said that when women tell me, I'm not a politician, I don't understand politics, I don't do office politics, I wonder what they are talking about. Honestly. I wonder, because maybe you don't understand the meaning of politics. But then I ask such women, do you understand how to navigate stakeholders? So sometimes it's said that women don't have enough access to senior leaders. They don't see enough of people that can mentor them or show them the way to go. Sometimes it's said as well that by the multiple roles that a woman has to play, i.e. mother, i.e. wife, i.e. career individual, and all of that, it is possible that a woman may feel less advantaged when it comes to putting up your hand for leadership positions, because a woman is then wondering, how do I juggle skillfully? You see what I mean? Recently, I spoke to a few people around juggling skillfully. We called it graceful juggling. And I said to women, for any woman who wants to juggle gracefully, we're talking about achieving your career aspirations. You cannot do it without understanding how to juggle. You can call it skillful juggling. You can call it graceful juggling. Whatever you choose to brand it by, it is perfecting the art of juggling. You will continue to wear different hats. Mother, wife, leader, board member. You will continue to wear those hats in multiples. And ability to actualize your aspiration to get to the top, is almost directly proportionate to your ability to skillfully juggle. You know the art of juggling. Do you know the art of juggling? What does it involve? Somebody help me. Your two hands, thank you. What else does it involve? Concentration, what else does it involve? Sorry? Strategic thinking, focus, what else does it involve? Mindfulness, what else does it involve? Prioritization, what else does it involve? Multitasking, continuously throwing up different balls in the air. What is the overall objective of juggling? Oh, say that again. None of the items you're juggling should fall to the ground. I'd like to amend that a little bit. Technically, that's what it is. Juggling is all about. But juggling for a corporate woman is a little bit different. It is okay for one or two balls to fall, but the wrong ball must not fall. Some of the balls are made of rubber. If a rubber ball falls, what happens? It comes back to you. While some are made of glass. If a glass ball falls, what happens? Now, corporate juggling for a career woman is equal to understanding which ball is rubber and which ball is glass. And it will be different from one woman to the other. Why? Because my aspirations are different from yours, isn't it? It's okay if you don't want to be CEO. After all, there's only one CEO in the organization. It's okay if you don't want to be an executive director. It's okay if you don't. But what is not okay is that you have no aspirations at all. Now that is not okay. We're talking today about actualizing women's aspirations through a community-led initiative. If you don't have aspirations, what is there to actualize? And it's very simple not to have aspirations, though. It's very easy to sense check yourself. First of all, do you have a career goal? Can you write it down if I give you a minute to do that? Can you assess yourself how far you have gotten? Is the goal clear enough? Is it specific? Is it measurable? Can you achieve it? Is it time bound? Do you know, is your goal such that you can say, I want to be CEO or CMO or CFO by X? After all, the career life is tenured. Am I correct? Every institution, well, almost all institutions have a retirement date, isn't it? So for something, for an endeavor that is tenured, you have to have a goal. And you must break that goal into sub-goals to know where you want to be at every point in time, at every phase of your career. You know, you can break your career to early careers, you can break it to intermediate careers, and then go on to advanced careers. It's important to cast your aspirations across that continuum. Why? So that it's when the organization comes up with initiatives like this, you can key into it and let it add value to you. It's not going to add value to everyone. If you don't have aspirations, then it becomes difficult for you to leverage on this. You know, in all of this, a lot depends on you. There's a lot that as individual women we're responsible for in actualizing our aspirations. Firstly, you must dream big. Don't attempt to borrow the size of my dream. You may not be able to take it. Aspire big. Understand first and foremost what your career goals are. What is this journey about for you? How far do you want to go? Then you can determine what help you need. I take a view that all the balls can be juggled. If a rubber one falls, it bounces right back up to you. There are many things we must learn to juggle. I tell women the easiest way to actualize your aspirations is to learn how to drive your car. I call it CAR. It's an acronym for CAARS. I say actualizing your aspirations is about first competence. There's nothing the institution will do to take that to substitute for that. The institution can give you a community-led initiative today, put so much into it. Guess what? It may not achieve the results required. Why? Simple. Because you're not connecting to it. So start with your C. After you've defined your goal, where you want to go, check how long it's going to take you to get there. The target should be how to shorten it, to be honest. Then this community initiative would help you on that journey. Then on your C, determine the competence required to get there. And be true to yourself. Don't wait for your line manager to tell you you need to go back to school. And don't start with that story. Oh, it's at the same time I'm having children. Then they say that I have to go and do this. Then I'm not getting the right opportunities because I'm not. You need to ask yourself the questions. Is my competence intact? Is my competence aligned with my career aspirations? It will be difficult to actualize those aspirations if competence is in the, reverse variable. Competence is the first. The C is huge. Sometimes it's time to go back to school. I wish I could tell you my story. Sometimes it's time to go back to school. And there should be no excuse. When I went back for my MBA, I knew that was exactly what I needed. And I decided I wanted a global MBA. Because I knew, again, the aspiration was clear. So when the aspiration is clear, then you know exactly what the competence requirement is. I shut down everything. I was then, in a very juicy role, to be honest. I was working with MTN at the time. And it was easy to say, because for some of you is, this is my salary, I can't leave it for some time. Says who? There's even an opportunity for you not to leave your salary because there are many part-time structures that you can key into. It just means you must be ready to do the work. I knew I wanted a full-time program. I knew I wanted, the entire global experience. I wanted the culture, assimilation, and all of that. And so I shut down, took a year off for study leave, exactly 1 year out. And I was back on my desk. The rest, as I say, is history. You must, and after that again, I knew that, look, to get to the height I wanted to, those who distinguish themselves, typically are specialists in at the minimum one area. I'm going to say that again. Those who distinguish themselves, male or female, are typically specialists in at the minimum one area. In other words, they are subject matter experts. They're deferred to. Their opinions are sought. It became clear to me that to be a subject matter expert and a, if you like, a thought leader, my aspiration was to be a thought leader. In my first discipline, as the introduction said, I pivoted from human resource management a year ago to operations management in the bank. Again, another requirement for competence. Are you there? You just must be on the ball all of the time and saying to yourself, what are the competence requirements for my aspirations? Then you move on to the agility. Remember, it's the cars you're driving. Then you move on to agility. Agility is very simple. It's how fast you can adapt. Because we're in a hugely volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous business landscape. It's going to continue to throw you left and right. The organization has to continue to adapt to the changes in the global and macro environment. And you will have to continuously adapt as well. It may sometimes lead to restructuring, reorganization, and sometimes your job may be affected. You must be ready to embrace opportunities. You must be ready to open up yourself to possibilities. That is agility. It could be geographical agility. You may need to be agile geographically. Mobility, Funke, but I have children. You don't understand. There are many people who go on assignments with children. You just have to position what is possible. From agility, because it's agility that helps you to manage change. And change is the only thing that's going to be constant. To get to the top, you have to be agile. The other A is attitude. Attitude is everything, women. Attitude is everything. You're as good as your attitude in the workplace. It doesn't matter how competent you are. If your attitude and your character absolutely doesn't work, advancement will be difficult, if not impossible. We're talking about actualizing the aspirations of women in the workplace. I'll come to the community initiative. I'm splitting it into two. Let's deal with actualizing the aspirations of women on our personal note first, before we move to the community-led initiative. When you think about women who have achieved in the workplace, which faces come to your mind? When you think about women role models who have done an excellent job of their careers, who have actualized their aspirations over the years, which faces come to your mind? Just throw out the names. Conjoiwela, Ngozi Conjoiwela, World Bank. I wonder how she did it. Excellent family, isn't it? Balanced life. So if it's possible for her, what are we complaining about? Can you try another name? It need not, it can be global. Yes. Sorry? The late Dora Keeley. Yes, well done. Anybody else? Chimamanda Adichie, correct. Yes, bring it closer home. Anybody, even globally? One of my favorites is the PepsiCo lady, the PepsiCo's retired CE. She is one of my favorites when I think about how she broke every ceiling. She's an Indian American. She rose to become the president of PepsiCo. What happened? Were the Americans not there? She just broke every myth. She broke every myth. How many myths do you need to break away so your aspirations can find expression? You only know those myths, and you must be ready to deal with them. Their names, the list is very long. But let me help you. In 2022, there was breaking news. The banking industry had 8 CEs, chief executives, that were female. So it seemed like a big achievement, isn't it? It seemed really big. 2022. Today, there are 14 of them. A 30% jump. Here we are, trusting and hoping it continues that way, jumping that way. But you know what's going to make it work? When women take ownership of their aspirations, most of those women took ownership, and you'll be amazed how balanced they are. excellent scholars. In other words, they've got excellent degrees to their names. Continuous learning is what you cannot stay away from. You have to keep it. If I ask you now, when was your last certification or degree? If it's anything less than 5 years ago, then you probably need to be back in class. You must be checking something out. Because if I tell you how the pace of change of knowledge now is in seconds that knowledge becomes obsolete, and then something else is there for you to just Google up and you find something else. So we can't afford to just remain passive. You must be continuously checking. So whether you like it or not, change will not stop, which is where R comes in. Remember, you're driving your cars. CAAR. R is resilience. You have to learn to weather the storm. It will come. And I may be speaking to you right now. You're feeling all battered. You don't get it, Funke. Everything is just falling apart. And it is now at that time that they're transferring me out of this department or out of this country. They're actually asking me to go somewhere else. Can you imagine that? If you look, every woman that comes to your head when I talk about successful career women, all those female chief executives in the bank, they've all stood the test of time. They will all tell you how resilient they have been. They'll tell you how many times they felt like resigning. I feel like resigning. That means you're on your way to the top. What you must not do is resign. But it's okay to feel like resigning. It's okay to feel like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I'm done. I can't do this. This is the reason all my children are failing. This is the reason, because we know how to quickly emotionally put it on the home side. You know, when we want to throw it up, throw in the towel. If you haven't felt like throwing in the towel, then that means that then it is coming. But the important thing is that you must understand that this is a test of my resilience. And you take it on and you move on. Then S, allow me to stall on S. Sponsorship. You must be sponsorable. Let me put it that way. How many people are in marketing here? Fantastic. Marketing people will tell you that they manage the sponsorship space, isn't it? And the budget. They are not going to put the budget behind any product that is not worth it, correct? Or service that is not worth it. Sponsors within the organization, or you can call it mentors or whatever you want to call them, they are leaders who have gone ahead of you, who are looking behind and waiting to see those they can pull along with them. Will you be that one? Okay, you don't get it. It's man, no man. Stop. Just stop. Make yourself sponsorable. So it's then clear. Not make yourself a choice. Make yourself the obvious choice. Make it clear that you are the next person. Do you get it? Sponsorship is important because, you know, the support to get to the top, and that's what we say to women. When women get to the top, they should support other women to climb, correct? As you are climbing, not when you get to the top. Don't even wait until you get to the top. As you are climbing, support the women behind you to also be climbing. That's when, you know, the ladder gets busy. And won't look back and say, oh, one person got all the way to the top, but guess what? There's nobody behind. We should ask that woman, who did you sponsor? It's a call to sponsorship. It's important that women it's important that women get into leadership. Diversity helps with problem solving. And there's only problems all over the place. Businesses today need to be very good at solving problems. So women, the more you stay away, the more difficult it will be, because diversity is required on those tables. It's important that gender diversity is given that advantage that the business requires to get from it. Because businesses who have more women, who have a balance, not more women, who've got a good balance of, you know, gender balance, have been said, according to research, to be more profitable than other businesses who are simply just one gender. As much as 40% better in terms of, you know, their returns. So this is serious business you have to pay attention to. Having said that, women, we must, whether we like it or not, keep aspiring. That's what we mean by actualizing aspirations. We must keep aspiring. We must believe in ourselves. If you don't believe in yourselves, you have no right to ask the institution to bring a community-led initiative that's going to help you to believe in yourself. Is that possible? It's not possible. You must believe in yourself. You must believe in actualizing your aspirations. Set your dreams. Dream big. You don't need anybody's permission to dream big. It's your dream anyway. Let it be big. Let it be gigantic. Be ready to put in the energy required. It is going to be tough. Skillful juggling. Some balls will drop. Let the rubbers drop and come back to you. And you keep juggling. Don't let the glass drop. I keep telling women, you must determine what your glass balls are. You must determine what your glass balls are. Don't copy and paste another woman's set of glass balls. You may get it wrong. Know yourself, to thyself be true. Look at yourself in the mirror and know, you know what? I need to work on my C. My A requires a lot of work. My R, I give up too easily. That's why I didn't get that promotion. Work on yourself. Know yourself. Prepare for the future. Listen. Speak out. Hold up your hand. Listen to feedback. You need to pay attention to this. Pay attention. Don't say, oh, don't get emotional. They're picking on me. Don't play victim. Don't play victim. Not at all. Lead by example. The women who are ahead of the others. Please, let's lead by example. We don't have anything to gain by not doing that. Let the others know that we're there for them. On this note, I'd like to move away from the women. I'd like to move to the community-led initiative. 10 years ago, or close to 11 years now in Stanbic IBTC, we decided that we need, a community-led initiative was required, an organizational-led initiative. What should corporates do to actualize, to enable women actualize their aspirations, knowing that, sometimes there can be that playing field that is different. I'm not going to use words like unfair, uneven, and all that. I just like to say it's different because it's just a point of difference. So organizations have to be deliberate. So we decided to be deliberate. And we did a lot of things differently. We first of all told ourselves, you know what? We are going to pay attention to our policies and make them diversity friendly. In our leave policy, maternity leave policy, you can take an additional month. It's allowed. And your maternity leave doesn't discourage you from any entitlement. I just told you about people getting promoted whilst on maternity. Doesn't have anything to do with that. Oh, we're one of those banks that allow husband and wife to meet at Stanbic and get married, and both of them remain working for us. Yes, husband and wife. There's no punishment for expressing for getting married and staying. We just make sure you're not in the same department, and one person doesn't have to be in trouble, dealing with decisions concerning the other party, because it will be work disruptive. So you can continue. So we looked at all of the related policies to make sure that in one way or the other, it is friendly to diversity management. So for us, it was like an inclusion endeavor to see how are we going to be inclusive in all that we do. Today, we have at our towers, corporate head office only, we've got a gym, we've got a creche. So you can bring your baby to work within the age band. And at the end of the day, it's about enabling, that part of the field that is different to be catered for everyone. Policies that ensure that everyone, regardless of, I don't want to call it equality, equitable policies. Organizations sometimes struggle with gender pay gap. We pay attention to gender pay gap, which get out every now and then. And be sure that nobody can describe us as an organization that has a gender pay challenge. Gender pay simply means male and female doing the same job, one gets paid more than the other. You see what I mean? So that's gender pay gap. But to move it closer home, about 10 years ago, we decided that the Blue Women Network was birthed as a result of the need to give the women a platform to support one another. So the Blue Women Network was set up with a very, very clear structure. So it's got a constitution and it's got a structure, and is sponsored by the chief executive and funded by the office of the chief executive. And essentially it's a platform that enables women connect, that enables women share knowledge amongst one another, connect and support one another's journey to actualizing their individual aspirations. It activates mentoring, it activates coaching, activates role modeling, and at the same time encourages women to come together, to learn together, not just, topical issues, but how to manage their careers, to deal with this whole juggling conversation and understand where help lies. So that, if I've done it and I've walked the same path you're trying to walk, if you learn from me, it's easier for you not to make the mistakes I made. So we thought, look, it's best to have women supporting one another and have a platform to pull women together. And Blue Women Network was set up. It was set up clearly, as I said, there's a structure, there's an exco, and guess what? There's a male in the exco. There's an executive appointed by the chief executive in the exco, in the governing council, sorry, not the exco. There's a governing council, there's an executive council. And at the end of the day, the women are organized across buckets. There's a bucket called Proudly Blue Women. There's another bucket that is focused on giving back. There's another bucket that is focused on careers, how to navigate your careers, actualizing your career dreams. So technically, the calendar on an annual basis is developed and, announced and, broadcast. It tends to be very, very busy. And it tends to move also with the tide. When there was COVID, there was a lot of supporting events for women with children, especially for women also who had older ones to support at home, older parents and all of that, living with them to support them through the period. So the focus was on, okay, so what's in the season? So there's also that focus on what's in the season. There's an annual conference. The annual conference is big. It focuses on the subject matter, in intensity. We have sessions in the if you like, focus sessions in the morning and afternoon, and then in the evening there's a big event with the keynote speaker, and then an opportunity for women to gather all together. We also have an annual publication. Somebody help me with my annual publication. Oh, there you go. Someone has put it there for me. We also have an annual publication where women tend to, sort of find expression. Okay. And the cover story is always a very big one because it flows with the theme, and then the people you can learn from on the subject matter because they have a story to tell. So we publish their stories and then put them in sort of connection with the workforce. I brought a few copies that can go around, as many as can have it. We don't print the copies anymore because we now go digital. So there's a digital copy that can be, shared with Kumbi on time. But what it does, this is a community-led initiative, a platform that pulls women together to learn, to connect. It's important, first and foremost, that it is sponsored by the top, from the top. It is important that it also involves the men. Men also should be involved. It's not just a platform that should just be community-led, so it's just for women and it's strictly for women. No, I'm glad to see men here today. Men should be involved even in providing that support. And it should be funded, because without funding, it's going to be difficult. It should have clear goals. So structure is important. And it should have impact, a platform for measuring impact. At Stanbic IBTC, today it wasn't always so, but today we're 45% female representation at the board level. Yeah, 45%. Amazing, isn't it? 45%. We're 35% women in senior management. and we're 20% women chief executives in subsidiary organizations. And, if I go to the executive director level at subsidiary level, we're probably at another 45 or 50%. Because at the end of the day, the pipeline for growing women is deliberate. For growing women in leadership is deliberate. And so with a deliberate, focus on growing women in leadership, you must be able to measure the results with some clear metrics. Metrics such as percentage of women in leadership, women sitting on the board, percentage of women in senior management. You must have clear metrics, and the metrics must come from, we have a diversity and inclusion policy, and we've got a framework, diversity and inclusion framework, that also gets managed at the people and culture level, so that from recruitment, you are deliberate about percentage of people that come in. You have to be deliberate, otherwise, and it doesn't replace merit. It's important I mention that. It's a clear-cut, merit-driven environment that we're on. You're not going to get anything because you're female. You're going to get a role because you are the most competent to sit on that role, and in that capacity. But we've just talked about driving your cars, haven't we? So it's important, by the time you're at that level where it's clear to you that you've got numbers of women driving their cars assiduously, you'll be spoiled for choice, even in doing the appointments, to be honest, because their hands will be up perpetually as potential fit for what you're looking for. So the KPIs, the metrics must be immediately identified as you're pulling together your community-led initiative. So Hersurred, as you've chosen to call it, must be led by clear goals, must be led by clear measures. And you must stand by those measures. You must be true to those measures and see that they're trending in the right direction. That's what would justify the effort and the investment in the community-led initiative. So Blue Women Network, we're very proud of the network and what the network has achieved over the years. I have a clip I'd like to close with, and if the technical team is ready, this is the time to roll the tape. I'll take the questions after the clip. It's just to show you, it's our 10th anniversary clip. I just said we turned 10, and in our International Women Day celebration, the conference for this year, Blue Women Network Conference this year, we actually had this clip to celebrate the journey, throw back to the last 10 years. Technical team, over to you.
It's the 10th anniversary of the Blue Women Network, a community established by the leadership of Stanbic IBTC as a platform for support, encouragement, and empowerment for the female employees of the organization. For the last 10 years, the network has been a beacon of motivation, collaboration, and mentorship for Blue women nationwide.
For us in Stanbic IBTC and for me personally, we've always tried as much as possible to expose, our female staff members, right, to everything that has to do with leadership, everything that has to do with decision making, everything that has to do with, taking on bigger and even more challenging responsibilities. And we've seen that, coming true for us. And why am I saying that? 2, 3, 4 years ago, we were talking about, gender, balance in terms of the ratio for female, staff members of about 43, 44. As we speak now, we are talking about 47%, which means that we are improving. And for us, when we look at, whether it's our group ESCO, in terms of membership, you see, well-tutored, well-experienced, female members, taking decisions for us, be part and parcel of our strategy formulation, strategy design, strategy execution. So it's good that, at the international level we are looking at this. But what I can say is that we've always keyed into it, and it's nice that this year is also looking at that as a major thing.
Over the years, the Blue Women Network has blossomed into a community of charismatic, energetic women, a melting pot that Blue women can tap into for inspiration, motivation, and guidance to help them live their absolute best lives, professionally and outside of work. These have been achieved via numerous initiatives such as targeted seminars, workshops, and events curated for their benefit. But our reach extends beyond just female employees. We have spread our impact across the nation through several corporate social investment initiatives, touching the lives of children in orphanages,
nothing more to add. Absolutely nothing more to add than to congratulate you on the launch of your women network today at Leadway. I believe that, the years to come would be a testament to the investment you're making today as you choose to launch a gathering and a platform for women. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Please, let's keep that.
Please, she deserves it. Thank you very much. And I'm sure there's a lot we have to learn from the Blue Network as we start. While she was speaking, there were lots of executives that walked in. I'll please like to introduce internal and external executive. The president of PILA, that's Professional Insurance Ladies Association, walked in, Mrs. Margaret Moore. Please put our hands together for her. Ms. Nowen Megalu, I apologize if I didn't pronounce that well. Ms. Omo Wari. Welcome, ma. Thank you, ma. Ms. Janita Injepome. And also executives from NIPE, Joke Adefemi, and Rosemary Iwunze. I'd also like to recognize our internal executive, our CMO himself, Mr. Olusegun Labildon, our CFO, Mrs. Yemisi Adeni Olachinji, sorry, Toyosi Olachinji. Yemisi wrote to me, I apologize please for it. Kike Fisher, please, no. Kike Fisher, and Diana Mulili. Thank you. So we'll move on to the before I go on, please, I would like to take some questions. I'm sure there's a lot of questions to ask from her speech. Will there be any questions here? Our online guests, any questions from the online view? Questions? Comments? Suggestions? Yes. She wants something.
Good evening, ladies, beautiful ladies, and the gentlemen that we have in our midst. I want to say a very big thank you to our guest speaker. I learned a lot, even at this stage. Thank you so very much, and congratulations to the Blue Women Network of Stanbic IBTC. So, ladies, you've heard it all. But I just want to re-echo one of the things you said, apart from the CAR, the C-A-R-R-S. C-A-A-R-S. The S aspect is very, very important. Do not take it for granted at all. Because if you do, you have to go through the whole hurdle. You have to go through, you have to make a lot of mistakes. But if you are able to key into that support system, okay, we also call it mentorship system, you will bypass so many hurdles and get to the peak right on time. And as we have been told, and as the statistics have it, even though the statistics in IBTC is quite different, I think it's just one out of all. We had a seminar recently where we are told, and in fact it is, that all over Africa, especially in the insurance industry, the ratio of male to female at the onset is about 50-50, 45-55, about equal. But by the time they get to the management level, a lot of women must have dropped off. And of course, you all know why. Some women may, of course, get married, relocate, leave their jobs to join their husbands, or maybe just decide to have children, to stay off employment and have children. So by the time they are coming back, their male counterparts must have gone further. But if you have a mentor, you'll be able to bypass those hurdles. you must find, okay, just like you said about our organization, they have crutch, they have a whole lot of things to keep us. So before I go off, let me just use the opportunity to let us know that Professional Insurance Ladies Association, we have a mentorship section, and every 2 months, as we have our meeting, we have training. So I was happy when she gave me her card. I would have asked for it anyway, because we need likes of her to come talk to us, especially our young ones. Pillar is 50 years, but Pillar has some limitations, because you have to be an ACII, that's a professional insurance lady, to be a member of Pillar. Even though in my administration, we are trying to adjust it a bit to have student membership. So once you register for ACII, you can join Pillar. But at the African space, that the African Insurance Women Association, we don't have that barrier. Once you're an insurance woman, you can join the African Insurance Women Association. So reach out to us and join, because for Iowa, every 2 months we have programs, and it's online programs. We have the likes of Mrs. Olufunke and me, Amobi, talk to us, and it's a virtual meeting, and you get to learn a lot of things, get to hear from people from all over Africa. So I invite you to join us. Thank you. I will have a question.
Good evening, everyone. So my question is to our speaker. I would like to ask concerning the Blue Network Women, what were some of the challenges that you faced in building this Blue Network, and how did you manage it? Let's say concerning Hersurred, did you just get to 10 years like that? Were there challenges in between? I would like you to share and how you were able to manage them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I suppose I don't recall big challenges, to be sure, that there was any. Like I said to you, there was funding, there was vision, there was leadership, and you saw the chairpersons. There's a chairperson's tenure is for 2 years, after which another chairperson is appointed by the chief executive, by the leadership. So it's I don't want to say clockwork, but there was quite a lot of structure, or there is a big structure around it, and quite a lot that goes into its planning. So I suppose COVID was a challenging time for many. And you know what? We had always, before COVID, had the network run in physical programs. Everything was physical and all that, and people could connect. We then had this season where the women were a lot more, if you like, challenged, needing and requiring more support. And you then had to rely on what you could do by technology. So COVID was a difficult season for the BWN. We had a lot. If I had slides to show you, you would have seen we had a lot of programs. We just kept running one program after the other. One for nursing mothers, one for this, one for that. Just to be sure that, we were still meeting, because we had 4 groups: Proudly Blue Women, and the Giving Back, then the Career group. All of the groups then had to figure out, how do we put in, because we used to have physical events, inviting speakers and all of that, and then we had mentoring sessions, speed mentoring sessions, we call them, where you could come into the program and be mentored by 3-4 other seniors in the room. You just came in and you moved from one table to the other, speed mentoring. All of those we couldn't do because of COVID. So we had a challenge at that time, attempting to put in place as many programs as we could do on teams and all of that, providing support for women who needed extra support, if you like it, at that time. So that was a critical time. At the beginning also, I suppose you could call this a challenge. At the beginning was also, we had to spend time on getting people to understand the purpose and the objective of Blue Women. Okay, so we could have your buying. So Blue Women Network doesn't exist to promise you promotion. Do you understand what I'm saying? It doesn't exist to tell you come and join, then you get promoted next month. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. It's not, a community of, if you like, unwritten rules and regulations. No. So it was clear to constantly at the beginning share the vision, share the mission, ensure that it's a shared understanding of what the community is all about and what is required of them, so that participation will be real, if you see what I mean. So if you like, you can call that a challenge as well. At the beginning, enabling that everyone had a shared understanding of the vision and came to the party understanding the objectives of the platform and what it required of them to contribute. And contribution became very, very dynamic. People were, because you could be in one subset or the other, people were very keen to move from giving back to join Proudly Blue Women. They were very, very keen to join the career group to ensure that they were serving in one capacity or the other. I don't know if that answers your question. There wasn't a challenge of funding because it was nicely funded at the top. You're welcome.
We'll take this last question, please, because of time.
Mine is not a question. I just want to say something. Thank you so much. When you were talking, I remembered a bit of my story. Okay, so sometime in 2005, I had my last baby. And I think I was a deputy manager, if I remember correctly. And I went on 3 months maternity leave. When it was exactly 12 weeks, I got a mail that we're having a strategy session. And I wondered what I was going to do because the baby was still tiny. And they said, oh, you must be there. So I had to move my nanny. I was practically moving my house to the hotel. I can imagine I'll have to do presentation. It was chaotic, but I didn't have a choice. So as we were just talking, I remembered and I smiled to myself. I said, really, one has gone through some, stress. And by the time I resumed, I was to resume immediately after the strategy session. I found out that the male counterpart had gone far in all the tasks, all the set objectives. I was like 3 times below what they were doing. And I thought to myself, I just went to God and I said, Father, I can't do this and I cannot be seen to fail. I tell you, by the end of the year, I think I came second in terms of targets, in terms of task giving, because God just showed mercy, because I must tell you that it was God. But you see, that resilience was there. Really, women, we face so much. I could have easily just relaxed to say 3 months, there's no way I can beat these guys. There's no way, everybody should understand that this year I was not around. But I really did not rest. I just want to encourage everyone that as a woman, you will face these things. If you are still having children, there's no excuse. You really have to just forge forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that contribution. I'm sorry, while I was recognizing, I missed out the Vice President of Professional Insurance Ladies Association, Mr. Motola Shotade. Please give her a round of applause. So the keynote speaker will be leaving soon. So before she goes, I'd like the executives to please come and appreciate her for her coming. Mrs. Kumbi Adeoti and Mr. Shakin Labildon, please.
Thank you very much, madam. I think I've also learned 1 or 2 things. When I was invited, this powerful group, I was thinking I'll be able to get a skirt to wear as well, but I didn't get too lucky. But I'm glad I'm here and I listened to you. Just a token from us, from the Leadway group, from the Hersurred and the Leadway group. Just a token from us. We appreciate you and we'd love to see you again. Thank you very much, madam.
I'd like to invite all the executives in the room to please join us in taking a picture with Mrs. Funke Amobidana, EMC, Toyosi, Kike. Femi Adebayo was here. He's gone off.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I'd like us to please recognize the presence of our MD, Mr. Benga Lessie. Please put your hands together for him.
Jim. Jim.
If she'd let me, her laugh, she was laughing, so sexy, she's so beautiful, time every day. Oh, you know, I never asked you to change. If perfect's what you're searching for, then just let it stay. So if you look okay,
Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. I'm today. Break down. Only alone I will cry out now. You'll never see what's hiding now. Hiding out deep down. Yeah. I know I've heard that to let your feelings show is the only way to make friendship grow, but I'm too afraid now. Yeah. I put my arm around, show you how strong I am. I put my arm around, I'll show you that I am. I'm unstoppable. I'm a Porsche with no brakes. I'm invincible. Yeah, I win every single game. I'm so powerful. I don't need batteries to play. I'm so confident. Yeah, I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today.
So sorry to bring the transmission. For the time we'll all be waiting for the time we'll all be waiting for the unveiling of Hersurred. For this, we'd like to invite 4 amazing executives to please come forward to the stage. Mrs. Yemisi Rotimi, Mrs. Kike Lomo Fisher, Mrs. Diana Mulili, and Kumbi Adioti. Please come up to the stage for the unveiling. Can you please have Toyosi Blolachindi up, please, too?
Yeah. Yeah.
And here we have it, the launch of the Leadway Hersurred. Let's all put our hands together for this amazing initiative. Let's also use the opportunity so you don't come down to take pictures, please. The executive from Pillar and Mr. Shakian. Yes, please come up for pictures, please. So you don't have to come down. So you can
I'm unstoppable. invincible. Yeah, I win every single game. Minds are powerful. I don't need batteries to play. I'm so confident. Yeah, I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Yeah, I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Yeah, I'm unstoppable today. You know the bed feels warmer sleeping here alone. You know I dream in color and do the things I want. You think you got the best of me, think you've had the last laugh, bet you think that everything good is gone. Think you left me broken down, think that I'll come running back. Maybe you don't know me 'cause you're dead wrong. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stand a little taller. Doesn't mean I'm lonely when I'm alone. What doesn't kill you makes a fighter. Footsteps even lighter. Doesn't mean I'm over 'cause you're gone. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, stronger. Just me, myself, and I. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stand a little taller. Doesn't mean I'm lonely when I'm alone. You heard that I was starting over with someone new. They told you I was moving on over you. You didn't think that I'd come back swinging. You tried to break me, but you see what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stand a little taller. Doesn't mean I'm lonely when I'm alone. What doesn't kill you makes a fighter. Footsteps even lighter. Doesn't mean I'm over 'cause you're gone. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, stronger. Just me, myself, and I. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stand a little taller. Doesn't mean I'm lonely when I'm alone. Thanks to you, I got a new thing started. Thanks to you, I'm not the broken hearted. Thanks to you, I'm finally thinking about me. You know, in the end, the day you left was just my beginning. In the end, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stand a little taller. Doesn't mean I'm lonely when I'm alone. What doesn't kill you makes a fighter. Footsteps even lighter. Doesn't mean I'm over 'cause you're gone. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, stronger. Just me, myself, and I. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stand a little taller. Doesn't mean I'm lonely when I'm alone. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, stronger. Just me, myself, and I. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stand a little taller. Doesn't mean I'm lonely when I'm alone. When I'm alone.
Get peace of mind knowing what's coming next when you're listening. Turn off shuffle to tune into playlists and albums from start to finish, all while
Thank you
enjoying
very much, everyone. I'll call on the CMO to give the closing remarks. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope we've all had our drinks, small chops. If you've not gotten, just signify so that it can get yours across to you. I'm sure we all had a lovely evening today, courtesy of Hersurred. So I want to thank all of us. Do we still remember the acronym CARS? What is it? You want to shout it? Competence, agility, attitude, resilience, excellence, sponsorship. Very, very vital. So what she did for us today is to issue our driver's licenses. Are we? So we should be able to drive our cars safely. I know she mentioned something about juggling ball. That if don't let the right or the wrong ball drop. But let me just extend that a bit. Let me extend that a bit because that could be an issue. You know, peradventure the ball drops. Look left, look right, look left again. Make sure nobody is looking. Pick it up and move on. Is that fair enough? Okay, so on behalf of the Leadway group, you know, we're a non-banking financial institution and we have you under our care and we're always ready to serve you. So on behalf of the group and Hersurred, we want to thank you for sparing your time this evening. We know you got a lot of other things to do, but you decided to spend the evening with us. We want to thank you from the bottom of our heart. We also want to thank all the Hersurred ladies. They are all powerful women. We have great and excellent women at Leadway, highly focused women, and we want to make them better and better and better. So can we give a round of applause for all of them? So please enjoy the rest of your evening and thank you once again for coming. And thank to all our guests as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming. Please take pictures before you go, please. Thank you very much. Post it on social media. Follow us on Instagram, X. Thank you all for coming. Have a great evening. Thank you, Mama.
I don't wanna see you cry, baby, and I don't ever wanna see you go, and I don't ever wanna see you sad. Superwoman, gradually, I will love you gradually, I will love you gradually, I will love you. Superwoman, I will love you gradually, I will love you gradually, I will love you gradually, I will love you. Superwoman, I will love you, yeah. Baby, you're my everything. You don't see a blessing to give you anything. Chilling in the lamb down with you, I can always grant your wishes. I know you've seen a lot of shit, but I never wanna see you go through it again. We fight and we argue till we cross that bridge. You mean the world to me. Girl of my fantasy, most beautiful girl in the world. It is you that I want and I need.